Chapter 36, Su Jinyi. Su Jinyi gave a faint glance at Ji Xiuyan, her tone cold. Do you have nothing better to do? Ji Xiuyan shrugged. I'm far from idle, Captain. I feel like I'm spinning like a top with all this work. Non-stop rotation. Su Jinyi turned off her phone screen and asked him, have they caught the person? Getting to business, Ji Xiuyan adjusted his expression. No. Su Jinyi frowned. Have they checked the surveillance on the road? Ji Xiuyan replied, they have. The traffic police cooperated and retrieved all the surveillance footage, but there's no clue. On the other side. In the hospital room. Su Wan Ci pushed open the door, and upon seeing the scene inside, her expression froze. She stopped in her tracks, took a step back, confirmed she hadn't entered the wrong room, and then finally let go of the doorknob and entered. Judging by the status of Ji Tang and Su Ruhi, they would typically be given the most spacious and quiet single rooms. But now, the two of them were in a double room. It was a VIP double room, but there was only a curtain separating the two beds, which was not very convenient. Especially. Her gaze shifted to the sofas beside the two hospital beds. Lu and Fu Jing Zhou were each sprawled on a sofa, sitting like old masters on the side. Two patients half lay on their beds, two companions sat on the sofas. Four people stared at each other in an eerily quiet atmosphere, a scene that was somewhat uncanny. Dr. Su. Outside the hospital room, a nurse pushed a medical trolley in. Seeing the scene inside, she froze in her tracks. Now, the two men and two women, plus the just-entered young nurse, all focused their gaze on Su Wan Ci. 2 seconds later, Fu Jing Zhou calmly explained, there's a shortage of beds lately, so there are no single rooms available. We can only make do with the double room for 2 days. The chairman himself had spoken, so Su Wan Ci and the nurse naturally didn't say anything further. In order, Su Wan Ci went to Su Ruhi's bed. The young nurse quickly followed, pushing the medical cart. On the bed outside, Ji Tang had already woken up. Seeing this bizarre scene, she turned to look at Lu beside her, at a loss for words. She saw the man lounging lazily on the sofa, a faint smile playing at the corner of his lips. His gaze, however, was fixedly following Su Wan Ci's movements. Su Ruhi had arrived at Hualien Hospital for 10 minutes. In these 10 minutes, only the head nurse had come in to do a brief disinfection. From the medical cart, Su Wan Ci took out a specialized percussion hammer, lifted the sheet covering Su Ruhi's legs, and gently tapped on them. Does it hurt? Su Ruhi clenched the sheet under her body, her eyes teary. With a pearlescent luster, she looked at Fu Jing Zhou beside her bed, then turned to Su Wan Ci, her voice trembling. Elder sister, be gentle, it hurts. Watching this scene, Ji Tang raised her red lips with amusement. This little sister of the Su family was born to be an actress. If she were to play a scheming White Lotus, she wouldn't need acting skills, nor rehearsal. She could just act naturally and achieve the director's desired effect. Ji Tang's gaze then shifted to Su Wan Ci. Su Ruhi's pitiful appearance received no reaction from Su Wan Ci. Their elder sister and little sister relationship didn't seem to be reflected at all. Su Wan Ci tapped Su Ruhi's left leg, glanced at her reaction, and continued tapping her right leg. Her strength wasn't great, but she might have injured the bone in her right leg. With this gentle tap, Su Ruhi's tone immediately changed. Sharp cries of pain followed, and her leg twitched in response. Ah! Elder sister, it hurts. Please be more gentle. Seeing her attempt to move away, Su Wan Ci coldly remarked, if you don't want to limp, then stay still." Upon hearing this, Su Ruhi immediately stopped moving. She turned her head, giving Fu Jing Zhou a pitiful look. Yet, Fu Jing Zhou didn't even glance at her. His gaze seemed to be glued to Su Wan Ci, unable to shift away. After examining both legs, Su Wan Ci pinched Su Ruhi's arms gently. She placed the percussion hammer back on the cart and recorded Su Ruhi's symptoms on the chart. As she wrote, she explained, "The bones aren't broken, but the fibrous ligaments in your right leg are torn, and your knee joint is dislocated, causing swelling and bruising. Don't get out of bed for now. Someone will be here to administer and you need to stay in bed for observation in the near future." Su Ruhi lifted her arm, revealing a blood-soaked elbow joint. "Elder sister, my arm hurts too." Su Wan Ci raised an eyebrow. "It's just a scrape." After saying that, Su Wan Ci instructed the young nurse to prepare the Su Wan Ci moved to Ji Tang's bed, glanced at the fluid in the tube, and asked, "Are you still feeling nauseous or vomiting?" Ji Tang tilted her head slightly and replied, "No, it's better now than earlier." "Where are you injured on your body?" Ji Tang uncovered her left leg, revealing an ankle that had swollen to the size of a bun. "My leg and foot." Ji Tang's leg and foot were already wrapped in bandages. Su Wan Ci bent down and gently squeezed her ankle. After confirming that the tendons were fine, she withdrew her hand. "The bones are fine, but the soft tissue is seriously injured. Miss Ji, you'll need to rest in bed in the near future." Hearing this, Ji Tang's eyes widened in alarm. She pulled the blanket over her leg and sighed plaintively to Su Wan Ci, "Dr. Su, how long do I have to stay in bed? I have to film in a while. Observation will take at least 3 days. After 3 days, we'll determine when you can be discharged based on your recovery progress." After Su Wan Ci finished diagnosing Ji Tang, Su Jinyi, who had waited outside for a few minutes, pushed open the door and walked in. His tall figure walked straight to Ji Tang's bedside. "The admission procedures and all fees have been settled, Miss Ji. From now on, you can rest here peacefully." Ji Tang looked at Su Jinyi, her peach blossom eyes fixed on him. "Are you leaving?" "Yeah, there are some matters I need to attend to." Ji Tang bit her lip and asked with a hint of complaint, "Mr. Su, can you tell me your name?" Su Jinyi fell silent for 2 seconds before uttering 3 words. "Su Jinyi." Ji Tang repeated the name to herself, a bright smile lighting up her face. She said generously, "Thanks to Mr. Su's help today, can you leave me your contact information? I'd like to personally thank you later." Su Jinyi didn't move and didn't leave his number. His identity was special, getting too involved might put her in a dangerous position. "Miss Ji, no need to be so polite. Half of today's events were my responsibility, leading to your injury." Before leaving, Su Jinyi cast a deep glance at Su Wan Ci. He seemed to have something to say to her, but after a moment of contemplation, he only nodded at her and left. Watching Su Jinyi's departing figure, Lu's indifferent gaze dimmed slightly.